Hello students, welcome to the first class of your module 4, that is three-dimensional viewing and visible surface detection. Okay, so in this module we are going to see two important topic, that is three-dimensional viewing, okay, and another one is visible surface detection, okay, which we also call it as a hidden surface removal detection algorithm. Okay, so the most part of this particular module is covered in this textbook 1. Okay, and if you want to further about this three-dimensional viewing and visible surface detection, you can go through this textbook 2, that is interactive computer graphics by Edward Angel, 5th edition. Okay, so portion need to cover here. Anyhow, it looks very small module, okay, but the content, okay, and the topics, okay, that are present in this module is very, what I can say, somewhat difficult to understand, okay, because a huge amount of imagination is required in this particular module. Okay, so here the three-dimensional viewing. Okay, in that first we are going to talk about some of the viewing concept. Okay, then three-dimensional viewing pipeline. Okay, so here we have already discussed a two-dimensional viewing pipeline in the first module. Okay, that same pipeline we are going to use, okay, in this module 4, okay, for this three-dimensional viewing pipeline. Then next we are going to see the three-dimensional viewing coordinate parameters, transformations from world to viewing coordinates, then some set of projection transformation, those were orthogonal projections and perspective projections. Okay, so based upon these two projections, okay, actually there are multiple projections are there, but for your syllabus we have only two projection types, that is orthogonal projection and another one is perspective projection. This orthogonal projection example that you have already seen in your rotation of a color cube program. Okay, but and the same, this perspective projection can be seen in the rotation of a color cube with the perspective view. Okay, there we are going to see that. Okay, so next we have this viewport transformation, okay, and three-dimensional screen coordinates. You have already studied what is a viewport. Okay, we are going to see this viewport transformation again in detail in this module 4. Okay, so this is about the viewing. The next we have some set of OpenGL commands, okay, and in that OpenGL commands we are going to use one um, we are going to use okay, we are not going to use any algorithms, okay, we are just using the OpenGL functions. Okay, and for the visible surface detection we are going to use some set of algorithms. Okay, so within that we have visible surface detection algorithm, backface detection, depth buffer method, OpenGL visibility detection functions. Okay, all these things will come under in this visible surface methods. Okay, so the chapters that we need to cover from the textbook 1, okay, are chapter number 7 and chapter number 9. Okay, so let us see the three-dimensional viewing concept. So many processes in three-dimensional viewing, such as clipping routines, are similar to those of two-dimensional viewing pipeline. Okay, means in the first module we have already discussed the two-dimensional viewing pipeline. Okay, so those were your what we can say model coordinate, then comes the world coordinate, then comes the viewing coordinate, projection coordinate, normalized coordinate, and finally device coordinate. But there we are going to deal with only on the x and y axis. Okay, but for this three-dimensional viewing pipeline we are going to use the x, y, and z. Okay, the steps are same, okay, but just we are going to include the z axis also. Okay, but the three-dimensional viewing involves some tasks that are not present in two-dimensional viewing. Okay, so those are nothing but a kind of orthographic viewing, okay, and perspective viewing. Okay, such kind of viewings are not available in the two-dimensional viewing. We will get a view of the flat nature. Okay, we will get a kind of flat nature. Okay, so if you take some example, projection routines are needed to transfer the scene to view on the planar surface. Visible parts of the scene must be identified And for realistic display, lighting effects and surface characteristics must be taken in account. Okay, so we are going to make a kind of very realistic scene. Okay, means in that we are going to use the lighting effects. Okay, we are going to use material properties. Okay, along with that we are going to give a kind of what three-dimensional rendering. Okay, so that whatever the scene that we are going to generate, okay, it should look very near, it should look very natural. Okay, so viewing a three-dimensional scene. Okay, so first of all, why we should view, okay, why the viewer plays very important role, okay, in this computer graphics. Okay, assume that you have modeled a object. Okay, object is present. Okay, the next one, the light is also there. Okay, means the some amount of light is falling on that object. Okay, so object is there, light is there. Okay, and for that object some material properties also there. Okay, those are nothing but either it may be smooth or it may be rough. Okay, so everything is there, but someone should be there to view, right? Okay, so here comes the viewer part. Okay, so that is why we are going to study this particular module, okay, related to the viewing. So viewing a three-dimensional scene in which to obtain the display of three-dimensional world coordinate scene, we first set up the coordinate reference for the viewing, that is the camera parameters. Means here you can take the example as a camera, okay, or you can take your eyes also. Okay, so whenever you want to see any object, okay, any object, first of all you should open your eyes, right? Then only you can see the object whatever is there in front of you. Okay, so assume that if the object is there, light is also there, okay, but you are not there, so who is going to view that? Okay, so similarly viewer is there, okay, light is also there, but if object is not there, okay, so what you are going to see? Okay, similarly if object is there, viewer is also there, but the light is not there, so what you are going to view? Okay, so see, this light, material and the viewer, okay, they are always dependent on each other. Okay, if any one of them is missing, okay, we are not going to get the complete part of the scene. Okay, so first of all, whenever we want to see something, whenever we want to capture, okay, from any scene, what we have to do, we have to set up the camera parameters. Okay, camera parameters. Okay, so this coordinate reference defines the position and orientation of the view plane or projection plane that corresponds to the camera film plane. Okay, what is the meaning of this sentence here is, so the whatever the parameter that you are going to pass, okay, for that we are going to maintain the coordinate reference for the viewing. Okay, so here assume that this is the camera. Okay, so this is its projection plane. Okay, or we call it as a view plane. Means whenever this camera is takes the picture of this particular object, its image will be reflected. Okay, its image will be copied on this particular view plane. Okay, the best example for this one is the older cameras, okay, Kodak cameras, in which we were putting this camera reel and all. Okay, so whenever we click the camera button, okay, where that particular lens is going to get open, okay, means the cover is going to open for a fraction of a second, and whatever the image is there in front of that camera, it will be captured. Okay, and that projections will be, okay, reflected on your camera reel. Okay, so that we call it as a negative, okay, negative reel. Okay, so again we are going to process in some chemicals. Okay, later we will get the hard copy of your that particular image. Okay, so here we have to place the position. Okay, place the position for this view plane. Okay, view plane, and the orientation means, okay, that is nothing but rotation, okay, about x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Okay, that we call as a view plane. Okay, so in simple terms, view plane is nothing but it is a plane. Okay, it is a plane, okay, on which all the viewing related projections are going to fall. Okay, so we call it as a view plane. Okay, or projection plane means a plane on which all the projections which are coming from the object is going to be placed. Okay, we call it as a projection plane. Okay, so we can generate the view of an object on the output devices in the wireframe form, or we can apply the lighting, surface rendering techniques to obtain the realistic shading of the visible surface. Okay, so which indicates that once we get the projections, okay, I hope you have done in your first year, that is in the CAD, Solid Edge, okay, you have used, right? In that you have done these things. Okay, so this is, we call it as a wireframed objects. Okay, so within that the gap between this one, okay, this wireframe, okay, its surface is not filled with any textures. Okay, so it is absent. Okay, so if it is absent, okay, but if you want, you can apply the texture also. Okay, for that you have to include the lighting and surface methods. Okay, surface material properties. Okay, next one. Now, before going in detail about this viewing, okay, let us understand the different types of projections. Okay, as I said that mainly in your syllabus you have two types of projections. One is orthographic projection, and the second one is perspective projections. Okay, so we can choose different methods for projecting the scene onto the view plane. Okay, one method for getting the description of the solid objects onto the view plane is to project the points on the object surface along the parallel lines. This is, we call it as a parallel projections. Okay, so normally we can use them in engineering and architecture drawing. Okay, as I said, in the Solid Edge, okay, you have used such kind of projections. That projections we call it as either parallel projections, or simply we call them as a orthogonal projections. Okay, what is this parallel projection means? This parallel projection means from this object, okay, the projections, whatever is coming, okay, towards the view plane, all these projections are parallel to each other. Okay, they are parallel to each other. Such kind of projections we call it as a parallel projection. Okay, so these parallel projections we also call it as a orthogonal projections. Okay, why we are calling them as a orthogonal projection means all these projections, okay, will going to meet. Okay, means, sorry, these orthogonal projections, okay, which are parallel to each other, okay, they are going to hit to the view plane. Okay, they are going to hit to the view plane, okay, with an angle 90 degree. Okay, with an angle 90 degree. So that 90 degree of that angle, we call it as a orthogonal intersection. Okay, so such type of projections we call it as a orthogonal projections. Okay, so orthogonal projections and parallel projections both are same. Okay, parallel projection in the sense, here all the projections which are coming from the object towards the view plane are parallel to each other. Okay, all these projection are parallel to each other. Okay, but whenever they hit to the view plane, okay, they will take the angle 90 degree. So such kind of projections we call as a orthogonal projections. Okay, so this orthogonal projections, okay, they have their own unique characteristics. Okay, that is, if the object is near or object is far, we will get the same size. Okay, we will get the same size of that object. Okay, but our human eye does not follow this orthogonal projections. Okay, so another one, we have perspective projections. Okay, another method for generating the view of the three-dimensional scene is to project the point to the view plane along the converging path. Okay, so what is the meaning of this one? So in these perspective projections, all these projections which are coming from the object, okay, they will meet at some point. Okay, that point we call it as a center of projections. Okay, center of projections. Okay, so our human eye is going to adopted this perspective projections. Okay, means whenever you are viewing something, okay, so all the projections, okay, coming from the viewer, coming from the object is going to meet at some particular point. That point is nothing but your eye. Okay, that is your iris. Okay, so everything will be merged at some point. Okay, so that we will feel that that type of viewing we call as a perspective viewing. Okay, so here, which the characteristics of this particular perspective projection is, which will causes the object farther from the view position to be displayed smaller than the object of that size nearer to the view position. Means if the object is very near to our eye, okay, it will looks very bigger. Okay, if it goes away from us, it looks very smaller. Okay, the best example for this one is this aeroplane. Okay, if the aeroplane is on the ground, okay, we will come to know that the aeroplane size is very huge. Okay, but whenever the plane is in the sky, okay, then we can see that it is very small. Okay, but actually the object size is remain same only. Okay, it is because of our perspective viewing, okay, the kind of illusion we will get like that. Okay, so this is what we call as a perspective projection. Okay, so what is the differences between the orthogonal projection and perspective projections? Orthogonal projections are those projections in which all the projection lines, okay, all the projections, okay, are parallel to each other. Okay, all the projections are parallel to each other. In the perspective projections, all the projections are not parallel to each other. Okay, the second difference, in the orthogonal projections, all these parallel projections will hit to the they will hit to the view plane, okay, or the projection plane, okay, with an angle 90 degree. Okay, hence we call them as a orthogonal projections. Okay, but in the perspective projections, all these projections which are coming from the object, okay, they will meet at one point. Okay, they will meet at one point. That point we call as a center of projection. Okay, and the third difference is orthogonal projection, in which whether the object is near to the viewer or whether object is far from the viewer, its size always remains same. Okay, but in the perspective projection, if the object is very near to the viewer, it looks bigger, and if it is far from the viewer, it looks very smaller. Okay, these are the three important differences between the orthogonal projection and perspective projection. Okay, now next one is depth queuing. Okay, so here depth information is the important, okay, in a three-dimensional scene, so that we can easily identify for the particular viewing direction which is the front and which is the back one. Okay, the best example for this one is, as you take this particular object. Okay, now here you will get two kind of illusion. You are going to get a kind of illusion. Okay, means whether whether this particular polygon, okay, whether it is in this way, okay, or it is in this way. Okay, so I want you should see that. Okay, that I want you to see this particular figure. Okay, you are going to get a kind of illusion. Okay, this particular polygon, sometimes it looks like it is on the bottom, sometimes it looks like it is on the top. Okay, so why? Because here we can see some kind of ambiguity. Okay, so a kind of ambiguity, because here this particular lines, okay, every edges of this particular object is giving the confusion, which is the very near one and which is the far one. Okay, so what we can do, we can, if we are interested on the front side, okay, then we have to eliminate the back side edges. Okay, we should not highlight them. Okay, so we will come to know that, okay, this is the front one. Okay, otherwise, okay, if you're not selecting the front one, if you are interested on this particular and in this particular orientation, okay, that whatever this particular line is there, okay, that you can reject. Okay, so that you will come to know that which is the actual object, okay, that you are referring. How we can do this depth queuing? A simple method for indicating the depth with the wireframe displays is to vary the brightness. Okay, so we have to vary the brightness. Okay, so means whatever, if you take this particular example, see here this particular curve, okay, this particular edge, okay, which is very near to the viewer, right? So we are going to make it more brighter. Okay, we are going to make it more brighter. Okay, so that we will come to know that it is very near to the viewer. Okay, and whatever is far from the viewer, that we are going to make it as a dull. Okay, so by using this method, okay, we can maintain the depth queuing. Okay, so we have to increase the intensity, okay, whichever is near to the viewer. Okay, and we have to decrease the intensity whatever is there away from the viewer. Depth queuing is applied by choosing the maximum and minimum intensity value and range of distances over which intensity is to vary. Okay, so what is another application of this depth queuing? Okay, it will be used in modeling effect of atmosphere on the perceived intensity of the object. Okay, means the best example for this one is assume that you want to create, okay, one kind of scene, okay, in which a smooth surfaced sphere, okay, is kept in front of the light source. Okay, at that time the particular sphere, okay, the part of the sphere whichever is near to the light source will get the more light, okay, high intensity light, okay, and whatever the part of the sphere which is away from the light source, okay, it will not get the that much intense light. Okay, so in that particular situation we will use this depth queuing. Okay, what is the intention of this depth queuing? So that we can make the viewing more three-dimensional, okay, more realistic form. Okay, the next one, identifying the visible lines and surfaces. Okay, we can also clarify depth relations in the wireframe displays using the techniques other than depth queuing. One approach is to simply highlight the visible lines or display them in a different color. Okay, so these are the alternative methods, okay, that I want you should go through. Okay, from the exam perspective, it is not that much important, but you should have the understanding about this depth queuing. They may ask for 4 marks, okay, 4 to 5 marks. The next one is the three-dimensional viewing pipeline. Okay, before going to this three-dimensional viewing pipeline, I want you should be good with this two-dimensional viewing pipeline that we have studied in the first module. Okay, so here procedures for generating the computer graphics view of the three-dimensional scene are somewhat analogous to process involved in taking the photograph. Okay, means normally we are taking the photograph, right? Okay, so in the same sense we are going to apply the procedures in the computer graphics viewing. Okay, so first of all we need to choose viewing position corresponding to where we would place the camera. Okay, so whenever you want to take the image, okay, of someone, okay, I think you can better relate it this one with your normally in the college day or graduation day or any cultural day, normally the students, okay, boys and girls will, they will come with the uh, means in the different color dress. Okay, that time normally the boys role is to what take the image, okay, and girls are giving the different what postures and all. Okay, so at that time, okay, so the first of all, okay, where you want to place the camera. Okay, so the thing is the particular boy whose image you want to take. Okay, so where you want to place the camera, okay, means with respect to means near, okay, far, okay, or from the top of the building, okay, or from some behind from the bush, okay, means to get the kind of different effects. So here we choose the viewing position according to whether we want to display front, back, side, top or bottom view of the scene. Okay, so here you can take this example. Okay, so this is the particular object. Okay, now this is the camera. Okay, this is the y-axis, this is the z-axis, and this is x-axis. Okay, so here now where you want to place the camera, okay, means the right side, okay, left side, bottom, top, okay, near or far. Okay, so based upon the placing of this camera, okay, we will determine what type of view we are going to get. Okay, then we must decide on the camera orientation. Camera orientation means once you decided the position, okay, in this position I'm going to keep. Okay, later you can orient means you can rotate that particular camera, okay, with the angle, with some specified angle. Okay, so which way do we want to point the camera from the viewing position, and how should we rotate it around the line of sight? Set up the direction for the picture. See here, set set the up direction for the picture means set up the direction means whenever you're taking the image, okay, see this is the z-axis, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. Okay, so your camera should face upside. Okay, then only you can see this particular house. Okay, otherwise if the camera is down, okay, means if the face is down, okay, then it is not able to identify this object, right? So always this y-axis should be in the upside, means it should be positive. Finally, when we snap the shutter, okay, snap the shutter means whenever we click the button of that particular camera, the scene is cropped, okay, to the size of the selected clipping window. Okay, means the camera is having its own viewing angle. Okay, how much the field, okay, it can capture, that much only it can capture. Okay, and remaining outside will be clipped off. Okay, the scene is cropped to the size of the selected clipping window, which correspond to the aperture or the lens type of the camera. Okay, and the light from the visible surfaces is projected onto the camera film. Okay, so it is going to obey this perspective projection. Okay, perspective projection means within this particular viewing angle, whatever the projections are there, okay, they will meet at this particular camera position. Hence, we call it as a center of projection. Okay, we can choose to use either parallel projection or perspective projection. We can selectively eliminate the parts of the scene along the line of the sight. Okay, means he's talking about clipping. Okay, means interested parts only we can highlight. Okay, and the remaining parts will be discarded. Okay, we can move the projection plane away from the camera position. Okay, and we can get picture of objects in back of our synthetic camera. Okay, whatever that camera that I've said, okay, that is a old Kodak cameras, okay, with the reel. Okay, in that for that type of camera, this particular explanation is suitable. Okay, clipping windows, viewports, display windows are usually specified as a rectangles. Okay, that we have already studied. In three-dimensional viewing, however, clipping window is positioned on the selected view plane, and scenes are clipped against the enclosing volume. Okay, and that volume we call it as a clipping volume. Okay, clipping volume or clipping window. Okay, so I want you should recall this particular two-dimensional viewing pipeline. Okay, but here we are passing the three-dimensional objects. Okay, so first one is modeling coordinate. Okay, that you are going to pass to the modeling transformations. Okay, modeling transformation is done. Okay, we are going to get the world coordinate. From world coordinate to viewing transformations. Okay, so we will get the view coordinates, and from them we are going to give to the projection transformations. Okay, so projection coordinates. So from the projection coordinates we will get the normalization and clipping. Okay, so in this stage all the clipping will be done. So normalized clipping. So normally in this normalization we are going to use this clipping operation. Okay, we are going to use the clipping operation. So normally we are going to use this GLE ortho 2D and all. Okay, normally we are going to use in this stage. Then next we are going to use the next we will get the normalized coordinate that will be passed to the viewport transformations. Okay, then next we will pass it to the device coordinate. Okay, so these things, okay, there is no need to explain. Okay, once you go through this figure you can easily understand the concept. Okay, so next one is the three-dimensional viewing coordinate parameters. Okay, so here we first select the world coordinate position. Okay, world coordinate position, that is P naught, X naught, Y naught, Z naught for the viewing origin. Okay, so this is the point. Okay, so where we are going to use the X naught, Y naught and Z naught. Okay, which is the point which is there in the world coordinate. Okay, so that will be the viewing origin. Okay, from there I'm going to view my scene. Okay, which we call it as a viewpoint or viewing position or eye position or camera position. Okay, means it is the position in the world coordinate where I'm going to place my camera. Okay, then next we are going to specify the view up vector. Okay, view up vector. So y is always positive. Okay, it will always pointing towards the top side. Okay, so which we define as a y view direction. Okay, so for three-dimensional space we also need to assign direction for one of the remaining two coordinate axes, that is nothing but x view and z view. Okay, this is accomplished with the second vector that defines the z view axis with the viewing direction along this axis. Okay, what is the meaning of this one is, okay, so this is the camera, okay, position. So z view is nothing but here. Okay, here some objects are there. Okay, here some objects are there, so it is looking at that side. Okay, and this is the x view. Okay, so if you are interested you can move towards the x-axis also. Okay, but this y view up vector is always upside. Okay, So here the view plane normal vector, okay, we are going to see what is this normal vector, okay, what is the role of this normal vector in this view plane. Okay, so the viewing direction is usually along the z view axis. Okay, so whenever the camera is viewing something, okay, so normally it is pointing towards the z view axis. Okay, means it is pointing towards the z view axis. So the view plane, we also call it as a projection plane. Okay, this view plane also we call it as a projection plane, is normally assumed to be perpendicular to this axis. Okay, so for this z view, okay, for this z view, always this view plane is always perpendicular. Okay, the orientation of the view plane as well as the direction of the positive z view axis can be defined with the view plane normal vector. Means if you want to change the orientation of this view plane, okay, what you can do, okay, you have to take the normal, okay, you have to take the normal from this view plane. What is the normal? Normal is nothing but we are taking the angle, okay, we are taking one vector out of from this particular plane, okay, which is having some angle 90-degree. Okay, so with the help of that normal vector, okay, we are going to rotate, okay, we are going to orient this particular view plane, okay, in any direction. Okay, it may be in x direction, okay, it may be in the z direction or y direction. Okay, it is just orientation. Okay, so here lots of imaginations are required. Unfortunately, uh, in the online classes, it is very difficult to create the imagination. Okay, that is a drawback for me. Okay, to explain in this way. Okay, an additional scalar parameter is used to set the position of the view plane at some coordinate value. That is we call it as a ZVP along the Z view axis. Okay, ZVP is nothing but view plane with respect to Z values. Okay, so that will be kept along with the Z view axis. Okay, so this is the Z view axis. Okay, so if the Z value is Z view is positive, which indicates that we are near to the viewer. Okay, if it is a less, we are far from the viewer. Okay, whereas x view and y view is always same. Okay, but y view is always positive. Okay, this parameter value is usually specified as a distance from the viewing origin along the direction viewing. Okay, so here if the zvp value is greater than 0, okay, so it is having the positive, means our object, okay, is very near to the camera. Okay, similarly if the zvp, okay, is less than 0, okay, which indicates that our object is far from the viewer. Okay, so this particular vector n, okay, normal vector n, okay, which is used to orient the view plane. Okay, with the help of this normal vector, okay, we can orient, okay, this particular view plane. So next, the reference point is often referred to as a look at point within the scene with the viewing direction opposite to the direction of n. Okay, what is the meaning of this one is, if this is the object, okay, so the particular, see, in this, between this object and this viewer, the projection plane will come. Okay, projection plane will come. So on that projection plane only the image of this one is going to be, it is going to be displayed. Okay, it means it is going to be captured. Okay, so this particular normal vector, okay, is point, it is moving from p reference to towards the p naught. Okay, what is a p naught? That is our camera position. Okay, so I hope you can recall the command, that is GLU look at. Okay, that I have talked in the teapot program. Okay, so GLU look at consists of 9 parameters. Okay, in that first 3 parameters are with respect to the center projection or the eye. Okay, with respect to eye. The next one is next 3 parameters are, those are related to the at. Okay, so at what direction, okay, in which direction you are viewing. Okay, so in which, where you are looking at. Okay, the next one is the last 3 parameters are view up vectors. Okay, view up vector with respect to x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Okay, so now this particular viewer, okay, means the camera is looking at this particular point. Okay, point pref. Okay, but this normal vector is always having the opposite direction, means we are going to take the normal in this way, okay, and from the P naught we were saying that we are looking at this point, okay. Okay, so this look at point and this normal vector, they are always opposite to each other, okay. Next one, view of vector. Once we have chosen the view plane normal vector n, we can set the direction for the view of vector v. Okay, this vector is used to establish the positive direction of y with axis. So see here, view of vector, in that this is x, y, and z. Okay, so y should always be 1. Okay, so this is the view of vector. I want you should go through this view of vector. Okay, you anyhow this view of vector will be used in the that is glookat. Okay, glookat command is used in the teapot program. Okay, if you want to know what about this glookat, that's a view of vector. Okay, you have to do some changes in that teapot program. Okay, in that glookat. Okay, change the values. Okay, and see the result. You will come to know. Okay. Okay, so here I'm going to stop this particular class. Okay, the next class will be in the next class we are going to talk about transformations from world to new coordinates. Okay, thank you.